Hey guys, I'm making a video for Langrisser Mobile. I finally have more time now to hopefully make videos more consistently going forward, and I wanted to kind of rewind a bit and talk about this document, this Google Sheet that I made for the game. And if you play the game, you might recognize it. It's pretty widely used. It's called the Hero Reference Spreadsheet. It's in Google Docs. Just wanted to take you through it quickly in case you have never seen this before or you don't know what's in it. So basically, as I was playing the game, I've been playing since launch, and as usual, I run into a situation where there are resources that I wish existed but did not. So obviously the solution is to create them. So I've made this reference that I personally find useful for myself, and I hope others do as well. And it's sort of a one-stop shop for lots of reference information about the game. So this is the index sheet. You can see here the list of all the different sheets in the spreadsheet and what they do, and obviously links to them. So what I'm going to do is go through basically the first batch of them, which are related to heroes, and then the second batch, which is related to miscellaneous information. And also, by the way, the link which I will also put in the description is this link down at the bottom of the sheet here. You can share this link. It's a nice bit.ly, and it goes straight to this sheet that you see here. bit.ly.com/LangrisserRef. So let's start with heroes. So this is a master table of all the heroes in the game. If it will load, there we go. And it has the following information. It has the name, it has the talent. So if we take Aaron, for example, has a talent, what it does, how it improves as you start up the character, the faction membership of each character. And then if you start scrolling across, you will see that I've actually plotted out their entire class tree. So how you read it is that you have your starting class, which is the tier 1 class, and then the tree splits into 2 or 3 branches, left, middle, and right. So you can see your left path, middle path, right path. So this is exactly aligned with how the characters progress in game, where for each class you have a type, and then you have soldier unlocks and skill unlocks. And so I'll come back to this a little bit later. Scrolling right past this. Next, you have soldier bonuses. So each hero gives bonus stats to his or her soldiers, and the maximum amount in percentage bonus for each hero is shown here. Then we keep going to bonds. So here are the bond unlock requirements for each hero, as well as the heart bond stats and effects for each hero. And then finally, we have information on the materials that each hero uses for bond materials and awakening materials. And this should actually say bond and awakening, not awakening and bond. That's just a nitpick for me. I'll fix that later. And then finally, the last section is for exclusives. So some heroes have exclusive equipment, and then some heroes have an awakening skill, which here I guess it's cut off on the screen. But when you look at the actual sheet, you can see, for example, Layla's awakening skill is here, and the description is, if you go all the way to the right, you'll see it. It's just a little cutoff on the screen here. Anyway, this is the hero sheet. It has everything for all characters that are released, as far as I can personally confirm. You'll see that for example, some of the heart bond information is missing because I haven't actually unlocked their heart bonds. But I also take submissions for people who have unlocked these values and want to contact me, and my contact info is in the description. So yeah, all right. Next tab is the max stats. This one I actually ended up separating out recently from the hero sheet. It's just the max stats of each character with all heart bonds and classes mastered. All bonds, including heart bonds, and classes mastered, and these are for each of their tier 3 classes. And you can see they're all here for the most part. Unreleased characters I don't have yet, but I will fill them in when they are released. So the next thing is, well, let me go back to heroes. So the class tree is actually clickable, so you can actually click to any of these cells. These are all linked. I manually linked all of them to the different sheets for classes, soldiers, and skills. So for example, if we click on, let's go to Matthew. So if we click on Matthew's first class, which is, in this case, he has a tier 0 going to tier 1, rookie to fighter, and you click on the cell, and you click on the link in the cell, you are taken to the rookie cell in the classes sheet. So now we're on the classes sheet, where it has a list of all classes, their types, their key stats, who has what class, and then if you scroll all the way to the right, you will see the mastery bonus. So these are the stats bonuses from mastering the class, and then the material requirements to master the class for across all materials. Again, my screen cuts off at on the very right end, but you can see here it has everything. So yeah, this is again all that I've been able to fill out and confirm personally. I do use external references for this, which I do credit in the FAQ sheet of the spreadsheet. So go back to heroes. We're back on Matthew. Next is the skills tab or sheet. And here I'll actually just go, let's look at his faction buff, which is Scions of Light. So the skills sheet, you can see I have grouped all the skills in the game. By the way, see it just jumps immediately to the skill of interest. I've grouped all the skills in the game into these 9 categories. So this is a recurring theme for these long sheets where I have jump links at the top. So you can see I have these 9 categories: fusion powers, physical damage, magic damage, cure assist, summon, transform, active, which is basically guard skill, and passive. So if you click on, you can use these jump links to jump to the sections, and all of the skills of that type are within each section. So again, I'm down here in summon. I can go back up to fusion powers. I can go down to passive, and so on and so forth. And you can see who has what skill. Pretty straightforward. And I should also mention that these heroes along the top row will take you straight back to the hero sheet. So if I click on Matthew here, I get taken back to Matthew on the hero sheet. Okay, and then finally we have soldiers. So let's try Matthew again. Let's click on Infantry, which is I think the first entry in the soldier sheet. And so now here again we have all soldiers in the game. They're sorted. They are listed by their effect as well as their training max. So for example, your elite infantry, The base effect is when initiating combat, damage taken is decreased by 10%, and it's upgradable to 20% by the training field. And again, it has a list of all characters who have access to a particular soldier. If you scroll all the way to the right, and again, this gets cut off. I'll have to fix this for the next video. But if you scroll all the way to the right, and you can see here there's a stats section. So what actually is off screen right now, what you'd be able to see is that I actually list the base stats and the max stats at level 70, which is the max level, and max training. So all stat nodes filled in. And this, yeah, maybe I can fix this after the video. I don't want to stop right now, but I might make a supplement at the end just to show you this stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that's soldiers. And then finally, the last, well, not the last, the second to last heroes related sheet is training. So there's a link here to the training sheet, which I will click. And it is a big one. So this is all the information for training field upgrades, all in one sheet. So at the top, you have, again, you have jump links to each type of training. You have the list of Anarchy drops here in terms of which Anarchy drops which material. On the right hand side, you can see which Anarchy is available on which day. And then reading down these columns, you can see which upgrades require which material and how many you need at each level. So the very first one, basic attack for infantry, you have the effect here, a list of up to 3 modifiers and how they change as you increase level. So basic attack, infantry, HP plus X, attack plus Y, which means to look at HP upgrades, you look at the mod X column, so it goes from 2 to 10, and then for attack, you look at the Y column, which is the same. And then it requires gold and then materials as listed here. So if we go down to an upgrade that has different modifiers, oh, here we go. Elite infantry, which we covered on the soldiers tab. You can see here, there are 2 different modifiers, all stats plus X% when attacking damage is reduced by Y%. So you see X and Y upgrade differently as you increase in level. I've also described the prerequisites to unlock each node, although that should be pretty straightforward within the game itself, but I just added it for completion's sake. Anyway, so to navigate this sheet, what you do is you can basically read this cell, but basically you click on a type and you jump to that type. And then within each type, there is a sub-menu here where you can jump to any specific node. And then, so I've gone down here to Bone Dino, for example. And if you want to reset the view, just use the section jumps again. So let's say I want to look at something else in cavalry, I just go back to cavalry and I have the menu again. Similarly, if I want to go all the way back to infantry, I'm back in infantry and I can go to any infantry node. So that is the training sheet. And then the last heroes related sheet is Bonds and Awakening. Here I list the material requirements to upgrade your bond nodes as well as Awakening. So scrolling down, I just wanted to explain quickly. Well, this basically explains it. So this links back to the hero sheet, and I'll explain this quickly. So I have 2 columns here labeled line and cycle, and those dictate the materials that you need to upgrade each hero's bonds and awakening at specific levels. So you can kind of read the description here. I won't go into it in detail in this video for the sake of brevity, but all of the information is here. So that takes care of hero information. Now, this second group of sheets has a lot of miscellaneous information. Leveling alchemy basically covers leveling up in terms of friendship levels and unit level, hero level, and character level. So right, I have 3 sections here: experience, forge, which discusses leveling up your gear, and alchemy, which talks about the amount of gold you get by melting different materials. And for a lot of these secondary sheets, I have a back to index link at the bottom. Enchantments, straightforward. I talk about the different enchantment scrolls you can have, and also the max values you can have. And then at the bottom, I have Ancient Beckoning enchant maximization. And I think I need to actually change these 2 values. I think the maxes may actually be 11 and -31. But anyway, terrain is next. And this is a very simple sheet. It covers the movement expenditure per tile for different terrain types and cross-referenced for different movement types. So these are different from unit type, but they're pretty straightforward. Mounted is cavalry, marine is aquatic, flying is flyer, obviously. Foot is like the default or everything else. And then Terrain Master is basically foot, but without any penalties. And also you have like some secondary classes that also count as mounted, like Demon Hunters, for example, as soldiers, who are archer type, but they are actually mounted. Anyway. That's terrain. Ancient Beckoning, again, straightforward summary of rewards for Ancient Beckoning. I'm not going to explain what Ancient Beckoning is here. This is just a video about this reference. So 2 more tabs. First one is schedule. So I've been trying to keep this updated. What it has here is at the top, it has a list of, it highlights the current week, and what exactly, the newest update, most recent update, as well as the previous week, just in case you want a reference. And then I have in reverse chronological order, so the most recent at the top, or the latest at the top, is what we can expect in terms of upcoming content releases. So we're down here right now is the current week and current 2 weeks. And then, I have an archive of past events, which aren't really necessary, but they're just there. So I try to keep this updated as often as possible. And it's a good reference. I know there are other references for like banners and stuff, but again, I wanted to have like a one-stop shop for people to look at. And then finally, FAQ is just some miscellaneous stuff. If you want to read some like trivia about how I got some of the information and how I formatted the spreadsheet and all that nonsense. But yeah, that's the spreadsheet. I actually, for those of you who play and know who Nitro is, I actually got Nitro to plug this for me in one of his videos a while ago. I've actually been working on this for a long time and been maintaining it for a long time. But it's gone through significant changes since he put out his video. And I thought, I've done a recent overhaul after the level 70 update. So I thought this would be a good video to make to get me back into the swing of things and just to show you what's new. Again, I will put the link in the description. I'll link to Nitro's original video in the description for those of you who are interested, and then I'll put my contact information in game and on Discord for those of you who want to give me any feedback or help me out with filling some of this missing information if you see anything. And yeah, so I hope you find this useful, and I hope you're all still enjoying the game. All right, thanks. Hey, so I just wanted to do a quick addendum. As promised, I want to show you the soldier stats. I had originally made the video, or made the window a little smaller just so it'd be easier for you to see everything. So I've restored the full width of my browser window, and as you can see, if I scroll all the way to the right of the soldiers tab, you can see these max stats for all soldiers. So I just wanted to tack that on at the end. And yeah, again, I hope you find this useful. Thanks for watching. See ya.